Alright, this is Zane here, back with day 3 of watching Monster House every single day this month with my friends because I want them to. And I actually have a friend here this time, and if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Cameron. I'm Good Buzz with Zane, and I'm an animator. Ooh,
Perfect.
talk about animation today.
So what are you working on anything currently right now?
Yeah, so I just finished up working on 2 different shows, and I'm working on a new one. So I started on DNA's, kids show for boys. Dork Vandango, which is for both boys and girls, whoever wants to watch it, a bit older, like 10 to 12. And now I'm working on Pete the Cat, which is like preschool kindergarten. It's based off of like the book series.
Perfect. And I'll drop some links to those in the description after this if you'd like that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
I can
whatever
also
works for you.
link you to your like Twitter and stuff too if you want.
Yeah, I got Twitter post and memes.
Perfect. So it's gonna be weird trying to do this one again, but I think it should turn out fine. I made sure in like going over it again yesterday that I try not to talk about any of like the points that we particularly talked about. So this should be all good.
Cool.
And I mean, I always wondered how, if a podcast fails recording, how they can do the same thing again. But at least it's only like a 30-minute time interval, so it's not nearly as bad as trying to do like a 3-hour one all over again.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
So, so you took some notes, you said,
Yes.
and did you get anything extra this time from compared to last time?
I just found out like a few more little tidbits of information, some things that I couldn't really answer before. So,
Okay. What were some things that you couldn't quite answer, but now you're able to?
So this is kind of like diving into some of the shots. There's the super long one where DJ's swinging on the crane with the dynamite,
Oh yeah.
which is an insane shot. I don't think they would have used any sort of motion tracking for that. They would have had to actually animate it. But we were trying to figure out like how long it was, and it's probably about like 900 or so frames,
Okay.
which is a lot. Because the sequence itself was roughly like 20 or 30 seconds. So yeah,
Yeah, because the movie is running at how many frames roughly for animation, did you think?
I want to say it's 30.
30? Okay.
30.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty standard for 3D stuff,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, for 3D, 30 for movies, and then 24 for 2D stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, that actually is like roughly 900 frames is pretty nuts to have like a long, like really long shot like that. And it was pretty zoomed out too. Or no, not. It wasn't totally zoomed out. I was thinking of another one.
Well, it zooms in and out, right?
Yeah.
It shows like how much like the scale of the whole climax of the scene is, like how big the house turns into, like
Yeah.
when it's just a pile of wood, basically.
Yeah, and doing it in using 3D animation, I would imagine would simplify something like that. If the movie was done in stop motion, I would imagine that entire thing would be incredibly difficult to do because you'd have a lot of things on screen moving at once, and you'd need a lot of people working on that.
Yeah, you'd have all of the background elements moving because you have the house, you have like all 3 characters, and then you also have the camera that has to follow. So trying to do that, if it was like stop motion, yeah, you'd have to have some sort of crazy rig to be able to get the camera down in there, or like a really a larger set. And actually, the set itself, if it was smaller, would still be massive, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because even like where they're doing the construction, they have the big drop off down into the pit, and they'd probably need to do a model of the entire neighborhood as like one giant thing. Unless you could like trick some camera angles, but I mean they do a really good job at making the entire neighborhood feel big, even though it's pretty small, I think.
Mhm.
Um.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, good.
Let's see. Oh, so talking about the animation style, is there any specific name to it? It's just rough 3D animation for the time.
So it actually uses motion capture, right?
Right. Oh yeah,
Which is
yeah.
why some of it kind of looks weird. It looks too like the movements are too realistic for how simple the characters are.
Yeah.
Which I mean they were following it was after Polar Express, right?
Yeah.
So going from like the super uncanny valley realistic Polar Express models and rigs to this almost like I like to I often like to compare it to stop motion because like since the hair looks so like waxy, it really just reminds me of like stop motion, but it's 3D. It is 3D animated. But yeah, the animation is kind of janky in places, but when you're unable to actually like mocap something and the animators are let loose to do what they meant to do, you know,
Yeah.
you get those like really awesome shots with like Jenny trying to sell her candy to Nebber Crackers,
Yeah.
and where she's like gets flown up into the air on her cart.
Yeah. Man, that
Flies
entire
into-
shot is nuts.
Yeah, it's a ride. And I love how everything is thought out. Like what underneath is gonna have to push up the cement slabs, which is just like piping, I guess.
Yeah.
And how they like figure out how to put body parts to this inanimate object, the house. It's very, very interesting to see as it progresses throughout the movie.
Yeah. And even with the scene with like the pipes pushing up, they don't feel like super mechanical and just like they just skyrocket straight up. They're like wobbling back and forth and stuff like that. So they have like a weird organic feel to them, which is super interesting. And like you mentioned
Yeah,
before,
exactly.
with the piping in the house being sort of like intestines,
Mm-hmm.
it also like goes back to that as well, which is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the amount of moving parts that they have to do for like when the wagon's being like moved back and forth, there's a lot of moving things. You have to think about how, if the gravity is going to be realistic, how something balances on like a small piece of thing like that and moves over to like another moving thing. Like that whole part is absolutely insane, and I can't imagine the headache that it would have been to try and animate.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you'd have to have like all the storyboard artists figure it out, and then hopefully the animation would be relatively smooth. But even still, you're using those like older animation programs. I'm not sure what they would have used. However, I couldn't imagine like trying to do that with even some of the programs we use today.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like I'm not a 3D animator, but I've dabbled in it, and it's just that's a lot to think about. I like
Yeah.
the 2D, I like the flat.
Oh, have you seen the movie Paranorman?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
the style of this movie totally just reminded me of that one, because I don't think that one wasn't stop motion, was it? I don't think it was, unless it was made by Aardman. They always do stop motion, but I don't think it was.
I want to say it was. I don't know.
Because it has, I remember watching that recently, and it has such a similar look to it. And if it is in stop motion, then that could be a pretty like, if they ever
Yes,
went back and had to
it is.
remake, it is stop motion.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess if they ever went back and for whatever reason remade this movie in stop motion, it could. That's a good testament to seeing that it would probably look fantastic.
I wish more movies would. I wish there was like more stop motion movies, as
Yeah,
well as like
there's-
2D. But
Yeah, there's very few these days. Like what is it? Is it Leica? Is that
Leica.
Leica? Yeah, and is that the studio that did Kubo and the Two Strings? I know they did like Littlefoot and a couple other ones, but I couldn't remember if they're the same or not. Yeah, I might be totally off.
Yeah, no, they did. Their recent film was The Missing Link, or Missing Link, I suppose. And they've done Kubo and the Two Strings. They did Paranorman. They did Coraline. Corpse Bride, and Box Trolls. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, Box Trolls was really good. I mean, all the other movies you listed were also fantastic, but that one especially. Okay, so those guys are basically the masters of their craft.
Yeah.
Man, maybe one of these days we'll get a Monster House reboot, where
That'd be
since the
awesome.
house died down in the pit, maybe there's a giant haunted apartment building or something. The kids have to do it again.
Some Luigi's Mansion stuff.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I wouldn't really want that, but like one can sort of dream, but hope it doesn't come true.
Yeah. It's fun to fantasize about something like that, but you know it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
Nothing can beat Monster House.
No, that's true. Nothing can. It's a timeless classic. Even when I turn 80, I'll whip out my DVD copy, and my great grandchildren would be wondering what a DVD is when they have all of their stuff just shot right into their eyes. 'Cause I'm pretty sure that's what the future's gonna be.
I want to be cremated with a disc of Monster House in my hand.
I want my ashes to be pressed into a vinyl record of the Monster House soundtrack. I think that'd probably be the best way to go out.
Yeah. Jam and cry.
So, you have watched this movie previously. This isn't your first time watching it.
Yes, I've seen it a few times. It's been a few years until I saw it yesterday. But it still holds up. It's still good. I will say, I already mentioned it, but I feel like the style is like it's a little weird. It's a little outdated.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the stuff that came out around it, but it does lend itself to its genre. Like it's supposed to be like this kind of like horror, it's like a Halloween film, right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be a little spooky. So the style kind of gives off this I guess like uneasiness. At least for me, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when all the way the characters look and move and stuff kind of lends itself, to the genre that it's trying to be, where it's not inherently scary, but it's like it's a little bit unsettling, and
Yes.
they do nail that, especially when like going inside the house and stuff like that.
Yeah, they get quite dark with it as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I wonder if they I didn't actually bother to look, but I wonder how accurate the anatomy of the skeleton in the basement is.
You know, that's a good question, because I was actually wondering like when it broke apart, were like the bones just gonna be bigger or something, but they were just normal sized bones. But yeah, I'm curious about like mainly like the rib cage, I guess. Very large.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that for when I watch it again. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, even that whole scene with like revealing the skeletons cool too. The way everything cracks away, like I couldn't imagine them have done that any better. It's even creepier that it's still encased in cement until like he touches it.
Yeah. And but it's like such a thin layer of cement too.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I guess if it has been down there for who knows how many years, and there is no skin, and it's all like gross and like dissolved away, I guess it could make sense that if the concrete's pretty weak.
Yeah.
That's a little gross to think about.
And he also like Nevercracker would have had to like place this cage around her body and then lock it. So
Oh, that's true.
It's kind of like weird to think about, you know.
Yeah.
There's not like a better way you could like immortalize her body, like, or you have to put her in a cage, which is where she started in, you know.
Yeah. And
it's a little messed up.
the cage parts are built from the like wagon that he like took her away in. So yeah, he did. Man, maybe Nevercracker actually kind of sucks. I was thinking I mean, he's got redeemable qualities, and he has this.
Yeah.
I guess he has a sympathetic backstory. I don't think he didn't really do anything wrong ever.
No, I think all of the stuff that he was doing was had good intention behind it. It's just that, you know, when he looks like a crackhead, he's kind of scary. You know?
Yeah, he's
There
make
could
the
be
teeth
better
nasty.
ways to like keep people off of his property. Why not put up a fence? Maybe,
Yeah, that's true.
but maybe the house would just suck the fence in.
Yeah.
He would build it, and then she'd be like, "No, no, I
Maybe
want
if
to eat. I'm hungry."
maybe he's tried to build a fence, but like since I guess she can control like the lawn and stuff, maybe when he was
Yeah.
building the fence, she could feel it and it hurt, and he didn't want to do that.
Oh, that's true.
That could be another
That's
thing.
true. I never thought about like the house feeling pain. I know it like it has a gag reflex because it has its uvula
Yeah.
chandelier thing.
And
But
like
I didn't. Yeah, I don't
near
know if
the
that's
end of the
pain.
movie. Oh yeah, because near the end of the movie when Nevercracker throws the brick at the shingles and they break a little bit, there's no like flinch, so maybe
Yeah.
it can't feel pain. It's hard to say though.
Also, the house gets completely destroyed and then rebuilds itself into this giant, like, mouth, I guess.
Yeah,
So
it's like a giant meatball out of wood.
Yeah.
Even like the
I
whole,
can't
the whole
imagine how many
transformation.
splinters they got
Oh
inside
man.
the house.
Yeah, it looks like a walking tetanus. I'd imagine there's rusty nails sticking out all over the place.
Oh no.
Man, splinters are the worst.
Yeah.
And then what else? Oh, you in one of your notes you had I saw that you mentioned the basketball and how it got all the way to the other side. Or like
Oh,
onto the
so-
lawn.
So my thought is like the basketball is playing ball, it's him in the face, it's Chow in the face, right?
Yeah.
But like how does it get all the way over onto the lawn? That was just like some sort of like weird cartoon logic or like some sort of just like thing that they didn't really care to think about. You know, I don't think it would have gotten that far.
No,
It had to go all the way across the road. All the
yeah,
way
it would
into
have
the
made
lawn.
it. It would have made it onto the lawn, I'm sure, but it wouldn't have made it like basically right up close to the doorstep. Like
Yeah.
Chowder wasn't
just thought it
hitting
was
the ball
something
with
funny.
Mach 5.
Nah. Like yeah, it wasn't that hard, you know. It shouldn't have gone that far, but hey. Now
It's
we have this
cartoon
great
logic.
movie. Yeah.
We're trying to apply logic to a movie where a house gets possessed by the like spirit of a dead wife, who then also tries to eat kids. So
That's true.
also, why would she want to eat the kids, or why would she eat the people? Do you think they tasted good, or like why didn't she just like smack them with the trees instead?
Yeah. That's a good question. Where do the bodies go? Are they going into the furnace or something? Then
Yeah.
you smell that though?
Oh, because when they kill the house,
Mhm.
all the people crawl out of the like foundation of the house. It's not back in like the pit. So where do they go?
Yeah. Unless they're just like buried in all those like toys and things, I guess.
Yeah. That
But-
might be the case. And then yeah,
That's a good question.
the car got totally shredded. Huh.
Yeah. Some strong trees. I
Yeah.
guess.
It's like
Um,
the Whomping Willow's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I got?
I have a
Oh.
note.
Oh, go for it.
So, one thing to do with like the movie looking outdated, I will say that anything to do with like the backgrounds looks like really good. Like the grass, the houses, yeah, any sort of like background piece too. It just everything looks really nice. It holds up for sure. And the lighting in the movie is actually pretty good. I will say the characters look really good when they're inside the house and it's dark. Just
Yeah.
because the hard shadows are just they kind of hide a lot of the imperfections with the style or the builds. But yeah, I saw like a few like screenshots when I was just taking some notes, and anything where they're like sneaking around the house, it looks really really good.
Yeah, and yeah, when the characters are not in the light, they look way less like plasticky.
Yes.
And yeah, they actually I never really looked into too much with the shadow work and stuff, but even on the back here, like, they do a really, really good job with that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like everything except for the characters look like absolutely incredible just when you look really, really closely at them. Like the texture
Yeah.
work behind everything is like insanely well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like the grass is like not a giant mass that has like texture work to it. Like each thing seems like really individual.
Mm-hmm.
And
Especially like when like they're animating like the one grass like or like the few like strands of grass like holding on to things and stuff. It looks really good.
yeah, and the like shingles on the house and stuff seem all not like one entity, but like they're all individually pieced so that when they like have to snap them for emphasis, there's actual like breakage. That's like really
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah, all the life, the amount of like expression and life they put into the house is really good. The animators did an amazing job at like making this house seem alive and angry and wanting blood, I guess.
Yeah.
And just it could quickly just like snap and just be like, "Oh, I'm a house."
Yeah, and
But-
like the house is more like expression stuff than I think all of the characters in the movie do, which is really funny.
Which is yeah, it's funny, but it's also like I guess it does make sense because like it's all about the house, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they nailed that. Like 10 out of 10 for the house. Absolutely.
Yeah, they could have put less work into the house and make it like so non-threatening or whatever, but they do a really good job at making it like feel like a threat. It gives off like it has a big presence, even just like the way its color scheme is in comparison to like the houses around it. It's like it's dark, it's like it's brooding and it's kind of like gross, but the house itself isn't like run down and like half broken. It just is not in the best shape.
Yeah, the house is like it's all gray and like the whole plot of land is like a graveyard, which I guess it is. It's a graveyard for one.
Yeah, that's totally true.
But yeah, it's that the presence of the house is like really felt throughout the whole movie. Like when DJ's going to sleep and then the shadow kind of like looms in to his room.
Oh, man.
And like the palette changes to red and black and it just like he's like scared.
Yeah. Oh man, that
and you're
whole
saying
shot
something
is
with,
also
like, the-
so good.
Yeah, and you were saying something about like the time.
Oh yeah, I mentioned 11:14, known as a triple hour in a couple other movies, or just in general, 11:14 is known as the triple hour, having something to do with guardian angels and stuff, which is they definitely put it there on purpose. I can almost guarantee that, but I don't know if that's supposed to be a callback to some other movie or not. I didn't do much more research after just looking up if it had a meaning or not.
Yeah, it could just be like some sort of superstition thing. But
Yeah.
those little details are like some of the most fun as someone who will go through movies and just like frame by frame things just to like figure things out. But seeing those little details is always a treat, especially when you spot them like on your first watch or whatever.
Yeah. And then I'm sure there's probably a bunch of other little things, like maybe license plates or something that I haven't even bothered to look into yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the
Yeah,
movie is just filled with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, that is
Also,
with, like...
did you figure out?
Oh, sorry.
Did you figure out what time period it was?
No, I was talking about it a lot yesterday, like
Oh, okay.
when I was redoing the episode, and
Cool.
I still have almost no idea.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm thinking it's supposed to be like 2005-ish.
Like around the time the movie is released.
Yeah, and then because I didn't keep a note on the TVs and stuff. That was like the one main thing that I forgot about. But you mentioned that they looked pretty old before.
Yeah.
And then corded phone instead of cordless phones.
Right.
But that, I mean, we had cordless phones in like 2000 when I'm roughly moved here. So like 2005ish, I guess we moved to like cordless phones. So
Mhm.
maybe movies just early 2000s or something like that.
Yeah.
But I will have to actually do a little bit of more reading into that. Have you seen any of the concept art for the movie?
I haven't actually.
Oh, it's surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, it's really impressive because they I don't know who the main artist was, but he's posted some stuff online about it, and he does a really like good job of I don't know, just expressing everything. And then it translated really well into 3D models just from the concept art, because I know a lot of the
That's
times
good.
they make the art is a lot more expressive than it turns out to be, but it seems like it worked out super nice in the end.
Especially with 3D stuff, it's really hard to. It can be really hard to translate the concept artist's ideas to a 3D model. You know,
Yeah, and I
having
would
to
imagine
make everything out of shapes, and like when you're drawing things, you know, you can draw what you see, but to make it into something 3D, there's some limits, you know, unless you
Yeah.
want to kind of go insane. But at the time, for sure.
And yeah, something that might look really, really good on like a 2D plane might not transfer over quite as well to like a 3D modeled image. Because everything's like looking, it's supposed to be flat and not super, super dimensional, but when you start adding a bunch of dimensions to it, then it might not look quite as natural. Especially when it comes to
Yeah.
anatomy and stuff. You can draw something, but when it's translated into a different way, it might not turn out super, super well.
Yeah, one thing that like you have to like really keep an eye out for is lighting, like how the lighting is going to affect something. So if it's really crazy, you know, the 3D lighting might really mess it up.
Oh yeah. And then also going on with the lighting, like a lot of the movie is spent not in just like bright blue sky, sunny settings with just like the sun overhead. A lot of it's like the nice fall orangey looks to everything. So there's a lot of like really harsh shadows going on because you can tell that it's getting close to the days are getting really, really short.
Yeah. And to like contrast everything around the house, everything is like nice and orange, and then the house is just like blue and
Yeah.
like gray. It's really good.
Yeah, they do an excellent job of making it stand out like as much as possible, but not like standing out too much. It's not like every house in the neighborhood is the same paint job and then that one's like mint green, because it's still just a house and it stands out in its own ways besides being like super in your face about it.
Right. And it's weird that like some of the houses around it aren't similarly built, because at least from like the flashbacks, it looks like that the house is just put in the middle of nowhere and then the city or the town is built around it.
Yeah.
That's how it feels, at least from those flashbacks. Just there's nothing.
Yeah, it's like pure desert, and then flash into the future, it's like all nice, lush, and green and stuff. So
Yeah.
that probably has something to do with maybe like budget limitations or not. But they spent like 5 minutes on that entire scene, so it's probably not worth trying to flesh out an entire maybe building up neighborhood around it.
Yeah, it looks good regardless. Like it gets the point across. It's just kind of funny having those random kids there.
Yeah, the two random kids that came out of nowhere and are throwing eggs, and it's supposed to be Halloween. They're like, yeah, let's go trick or treat at this house that's not even done being built by this like old balding dude.
Yeah, so sad.
All right, so we're at like the 28-minute mark now, so
Okay.
we'll do some quick last minute wrap up stuff. So I asked you it yesterday, but what are top 3 favorite movies? At least you might be a
All
little
right.
bit more prepared this time.
Yeah, I got those.
Less putting you on your toes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with my favorite is gonna be Akira.
Okay, good
Akira
choice.
is insane. The animation is awesome. I highly recommend everyone watching it. Unless you're squeamish, then don't. Maybe. I would say Zootopia is my second favorite. Just visually pleasing. It's very good. I like the story. That totally not for other reasons. And my third favorite, I would say probably Megamind. Underrated.
Ooh, okay.
So good.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Watch it if you haven't, please.
All right, so What is your final rating for Monster House this time around?
It's gonna be 4 houses out of 5.
4 houses out of 5. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Regular houses?
Monster houses.
All right, I can take that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this movie 10 Imagine Party Babies out of 10. So thank you for coming on and actually working this time. So just shoot me the links to some of your stuff and I'll make sure to put them in.
For
All
sure,
right.
will do. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. See ya.